Welcome back to the Arena of Bobbert, my first-person shooter game. The most important thing about the Arena is that it's multiplayer. The whole bit is that you're supposed to get many ways to kill your friends. So you kind of need to be able to play the game with your friends. And that's great and super fun, but multiplayer comes at a great cost. It takes over 10 times as long to develop any feature. That is not an exaggeration. To illustrate my point, we need to go back a couple of weeks in time to when I got the stupid idea into my head that Bobbert needed more mobility. And the first thought there was, let's add rocket jumping. The idea is simple enough. I make a new projectile weapon and make it deal knockback. Yeah, it's that simple. I was kind of lazy, so I just took the grenade launcher, which is already a projectile weapon, duplicated it, and then changed the scale of some of its components to make this, the rocket jumper. Then, I added generic knockback values to the explosions that the grenades cause. These knockback values just add a ton of velocity to any Bobbert they hit, plain and simple. And this actually worked pretty nicely. You can now, in fact, go wee. Also, I added a basic reloading system that just counts up your bullets and tells you, hey, you can't shoot any more bullets when you run out of bullets. Then it'll automatically reload, which treats you to this beautiful animation. The reason I actually added this reloading system is just to keep the player from being perpetually in the air. So I gave the rocket jumper only 3 rockets per magazine and a relatively long reloading cycle. Then I called it good and called up a couple friends.
Did you not see it?
Oh. Is that the shotgun?
Ow. My ultra instinct on the board. I don't know where I go. I already go. I'll save you, Sam!
Get away from me! That was my kill. No!
The dastardly, diabolical, sinister, horrific, despicable, underhanded, cruel, fiendish, vile, wicked Gilbert?
Let me be free!
Okay, I think the shotgun needs a major nerf.
Wow, that was pretty fun and epic, but I have seen 3 major problems. Surprisingly enough, the host-only single-player style code I wrote for the explosions don't work. Multiplayer problems do indeed require multiplayer solutions. The 3 multiplayer problems I have are, 1, the knockback looks delayed on clients because of network latency, and this delay causes a lot of rubber banding. 2, the grenades or rockets are pretty dang inconsistent. And 3, rocket jumper plus firecracker is a very overpowered combo. For problem 1, knockback being delayed, I thought I could just let clients experience their own knockback. I thought it would be enough, but as it turns out, this doesn't work because of some more multiplayer problems. On high ping connections, the client will take knockback, but then the server will get back to them with the results of their rocket jump, and the client gets sent back to the ground because the server is always right. Then, when the rocket finally does land on the server, the client gets teleported to the top of their rocket jumping arc because of the reconciliation code. This is because the rockets are spawned locally and are then ignored in the prediction and reconciliation between the server and client. I also tried to circumvent the entire prediction and reconciliation process on clients that are rocket jumping, so that when the server tells the client, hey, you should be on the ground, the client says, nah, I'm 4 parallel universes ahead of you, and would in theory be almost perfectly accurate with its own math, and it would just stay ahead until the server catches up. However, fish networking, the framework I'm using for the client-side prediction, just ignored my ignoring, and it didn't work at all. Also, this is just a bad solution in the long term, and as more variables get added, ignoring the server becomes a worse and worse idea, so I stopped trying to fix this for now, and moved on to inconsistency, problem 2. The inconsistency occurs because of physics. And to that point, physics absolutely sucks for multiplayer games. At least using Unity physics does. Fish networking already takes control of time and runs physics updates somewhat synchronously, which is nice, but the grenades or rockets are still not consistently landing in the same place on the server and on the clients. Then I talked for 2 whole minutes about the myriad problems I encountered with Unity physics, but editing me got rid of it because it's boring. I guess that makes the title and thumbnail a bit less accurate, but just know it took around 3 hours for me to realize that PhysX is just not gonna work. Instead, I'll just write my own physics. This is actually way easier than it sounds. Every frame, we run a sphere cast forwards from the grenade's current position to where it will end up. If there are any collisions, then the grenade triggers an explosion at the position of the collision, but if there aren't, the grenade just moves to the new position. The nice thing here is that the position is set directly instead of being beholden to Unity physics, so it is much closer to being deterministic. And so I tested it. The good news is, as long as nothing gets in the way, the grenades are pretty consistent. However, there is still an unacceptable amount of lag on clients that I don't know how to fix yet. It's been over 3 days and at least 6 hours of development, and I have so far failed to make clients work properly. But what I have done is overhauled the rocket jumper. The reason why is because the last system was really good for vertical movement, but problem number 3, it's really powerful when paired with a shotgun. First off, I decreased the amount of knockback each grenade does and increased the attack speed to require a prospective rocket jumping bobbert to chain their rocket jumps to get to high speeds. However, getting to these high speeds was still very difficult. This is because I have a strong layer of drag on the X and Z axes to prevent the player from being able to hold the spacebar and W key and just go infinite speeds with finite acceleration. I considered using the Quake movement system, but eventually decided against it and instead created a new type of velocity for my existing system: explosive velocity. This explosive velocity was special because it had almost zero drag. What could go wrong? I also made it so that every time you rocket jump, you convert a large portion of your existing explosive velocity into pure velocity that gets added to your new rocket jump. This basically means that if you're moving fast, your rocket jumps are way stronger and it makes it much easier to pivot. I did this because I wanted to add some more tech, and some tech that now exists is the ability to accumulate vertical velocity, and then with a single rocket, you can convert it all to horizontal velocity and go from 0 to 60 in literally 1 frame. After those changes, I'm feeling a lot better about the rocket jumping, and after testing it, it's extremely unfair. Multiplayer problems, remember? But yeah, it's pretty unfair because the host gets to fly while the rest of the players have to deal with this horrible lag and rubber banding. Fixing this is going to be the main focus of the next devlog, so stay tuned for that. And of course, thanks for watching until the end of the video. Since you made it here, you get to comment down below whether I should be more technical about my problems like in this video, or just yap about everything with no direction whatsoever like I did for the previous 2 devlogs. Also, if you've got a good idea for a new weapon or other content like a map, put that down there too, and subscribe because number go up, me happy. Bye bye.